All right, and welcome back to Moon's Remorse. We left off in the middle of action. Um, the adventurers descended into the dragon's lair, dealt with cultists, um, and then continued further in to the strange burial chamber. Not figuring the riddles correctly, they engaged with a grouping of undead that were quite potent, dragon guardians that were buried there some time long ago. Um, Jun, seeing two of his friends quickly downed in the combat, and only the cleric barely living, in pretty much encircled by these zombies, ran from the location and crept through the dark and made his way out as the fight continued. Ithel was able to bring back up Isaac. Isaac was able to push himself and make way for Ithel to escape out of the encircling, and they formed themselves over Fomzi's body, got him back up, and set up a narrow point, Isaac up front, using his shield to defend, while the other two threw out radiance and fire, some a bit more accurately than others. Once they defeated the zombies, we cut back to where Jun had gone, and he had made his way up the stairwell back up to the surface. And once he made it up there, he saw that there was a strange individual standing atop a stone platform, the stone sacrificial platform over the pit. And he saw the white dragon come up out of the pit and hit the lines. The double notched ropes were ripped from the stone by the dragon's might, and the dragon started to rise up out of the pit as the fighter up on top kind of let out a battle cry as if he were ready. We introduce Joe Orbic. He will be playing a character named Estinos, who is a warrior, a Parnin, who is ready to rock and roll, but he knows that he is not here alone. He did not travel here by himself. He would have never found it. Fortunately, while he was in the town of Squallow, a couple of individuals were heading their way, or making their way out, having learned that the younger trainees of their care had already left out into the wild. And End of Install wanted to be sure if Isaac's body was to be laid down or if his ordeal were to be completed. He was there to congratulate him or return him. With him is also Rignar Whitebeard, who was also concerned about Ithel and wanted to be sure that the dragon was dealt with, did not know that they were leaving, and was kind of left out in the confusion. He may have said that he wasn't going to go, but when Endovin showed some concern, he decided that he'll go along. And the Rignar knew that they would need some a bit more muscle than they were really offering, so they hired Dia Norwood again, for a decent amount of coin, and also an individual named Estinos, who stands atop that post. I'm going to move a couple of you so that you can see. A couple of you others will not be able to see the exact thing that we're talking about, so bear with me for a moment while I get that situated.
Just for sanity's sake, it's Astanos.
Okay. Astanos. Sorry, I'm bad at pronouncing names. All right, so at this point, Joe and Jeremy, you should be able to see the map with the dragon in the middle, correct?
Yeah.
See.
Okay. And Andy, Chody, and Steve, you're back in the damn burial chamber, right?
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep.
So we'll be swapping between the two. If you guys are not, you do hear the dragon roar. You do see that Jun has disappeared. You are kind of at a point where you can decide what you're going to do. What I'm going to have Jeremy and Joe do right at this moment is roll initiative.
Let's go.
I recognize the Whitebeard, right?
What's that?
When I see the Whitebeard, I recognize him, dwarf.
Yeah, you probably came out not just rushing out, so you would see him, but he hasn't seen you yet. It looked like he was kind of focused towards the middle, and you can see that the dragon's rising up.
That's fine. I just want to, for sanity's sake, whether ally or not, make sure I recognize what I see.
Okay. see. All right. Sorry, my stuff's lagging a little bit. And Ragnar. Okay. Last but not least, the problem. Okay. Come on, stop lagging. So it would seem that Jun is the quickest. You basically come out just as the dragon's coming up out of the hole, and you can see Ragnar there, but you don't think he sees you. What would you like to do?
Wait and see what they do.
Holding. Okay. The paladin sees the dragon rise up as well. He moves to here. You see him, he's got his greatsword out already, or his longsword rather, and he kind of moves over to there and gets behind the station. It doesn't look like he's cowering. It just looks like he's anticipating. Okay. Astinos, you're kind of above, like, position-wise, the dragon as it's coming up. And it's about to kind of ascend further, you assume, based on its the wings being up and kind of coming down. What would you like to do? I can see the struggle going on currently in your mind.
I don't want to die for a session. I can jump on the damn thing.
YOLO!
I believe in you.
Javelin. And I'll bellow, Remus, your reign of terror ends today! And I throw it. 16.
Okay. That will miss. It hits against the scale and kind of ablates off of the armored shell. All right. Remus kind of looks to you, just kind of confused, and kind of pulls at the line to kind of pull it off of him. You can see a couple of the sickled blades still kind of stuck in his skin. And as he kind of like readies himself, he pushes up off of the air again with his wings and ascends about 30 feet up. Once he makes it to that point, he kind of looks to you and looks like he's readying himself. He's not moving this turn, but it looks like he's basically setting himself to dive bomb right at you. Okay. The girl who you haven't seen or heard too much of kind of runs to the base of the stairs and kind of crouches down low at the low point of the stairs, kind of looking up to you. You're not sure what she's doing, but that's what she's done. Ragnar didn't get rolled. Ragnar's going to go on one. Makes sense for a dwarf. He kind of takes a second to kind of just survey the situation. And are you trying to hide from him, Jun, or no?
No, as long as I recognize him, he can see me. I'm going to stay, close to the door so the dragon doesn't exactly see me, but he can see me all he wants.
He looks over to you and he kind of runs over to the pillar that you're at and looks at you and he goes, "You're wounded, boy. Weren't you with them? You were sitting at the bar with them, I think."
I was, but they dropped inside.
He kind of places his hand on you and says, "Well, we have a horrible fight for us and it doesn't look like you're ready for it. Let me make you more ready." Go ahead and get 9 hit points back as he uses Cure Wounds on you. All right. It's your initiative, but before we get to your initiative, I need a perception check from the people down in the hole.
The dragon is up above the edge of the hole.
It is now, from the ground level, it is about 50 feet up. From Joe's position, it's about 35 feet up.
13.
Isaac, you're kind of sitting there, like scoping the situation. This is just moments after the conflict, and you hear, Joe, how did it go?
Remus, your reign of terror ends today!
Kind of echoing faintly in the stone. It sounds like someone is conflicting with the dragon. Your presumption is that it's upwards. The rest of you kind of hear a noise, but it doesn't sound like anything in particular.
You said we did hear the roar, though, correct?
You've heard 2 roars so far, yeah.
I'll look to companions. The dragons above. We need to get back to the surface.
Lead the way, good sir.
If you guys commit to dashing straight on, you will be entering the initiative on the 4th turn after this turn. So it'll go the rest of this turn, the rest of the next turn, the rest of the last turn, and then on that 4th beat, you guys will be rolling initiative and exiting out of the mouth. Okay?
Nope.
Yeah, I'm hoofing it full as
Okay.
fast as I can go.
I'm gonna actually take a potion and then go up normally.
Am
Okay,
I
well,
gonna
no.
be
So
behind them because of my movement speed?
at this point, if you're wanting to drink a potion, like during this little bit where you guys are deciding that you're going, you can do that.
Yeah.
You're going to all join the initiative at the same time.
Okay, that's fine. If
Yeah.
I could drink a potion, then I'll join the initiative.
That's
Yeah.
probably a good idea.
Okay.
Yeah, I still have mine. I'll do that too.
Start of
Just in
turn 1. Jun, you see, Rignar heal you, and what do you do next?
I will pop out and take light crossbow shots at this guy and duck back in.
Okay.
No way.
My guys rolling d8s.
I'm sorry. It's 2d4 plus 2, right?
Yeah.
Oh, whoops, I was just copying you. Let's re-roll that.
That shot will make a. You said you were trying to hide from him, not Rignar. Make a stealth check with disadvantage. Okay.
Nailed it.
So
Less
basically,
hiding, but more keeping cover inside the stairwell.
yeah. So he was aware of your presence based on the healing and everything. So as you kind of pop out with the crossbow and take the shot, he's not surprised by you. He kind of turns his head over his wing as he's about to dive bomb, kind of snaking his head down a bit, and sees the arrow hit. Go ahead and take the. You already took the shot. It missed. So it kind of glances off of his tail, kind of bats it out of the sky. Okay. Endovan looks over that way for a second, and then kind of looks over towards the group at the top. He kind of just shakes his head, just really annoyed, and just kind of holds. He is a melee fighter. He is Paladin McPaladin. He's got no ranged. All right. Estinos, it's about 35 feet above you. It looks like it's about ready to dive bomb straight at you.
Is it 30 or 35?
35. Yeah.
I'll throw another javelin.
Okay. This is just outside of... So yeah, it'll miss. You kind of just throw it a little short, and then you drop down and land behind the that pillar there.
Yeah, what is that, like about a 10-foot drop?
Yeah, about 10 foot. You're fine. You can basically climb down with your movement. If you're going further down, you can waste a bit more speed, but if you're just going there, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. It'll go to it. It dive bombs and lands on top of the pillar. As it does so, it kind of like scrapes down towards you and snaps at you with a bite. Okay. It will hit. It does a total of 16 points of damage. 3 of that 16 is from cold.
All right.
And then, as a part of that bite action, it's going to attempt to grab you with its maw and basically grapple you. I need you to make either an athletics or acrobatics check, your choice. Okay? So as it kind of bites down on you, you kind of turn your body inwards and kind of close your arms in. It kind of catches you on the shoulder and you grimace. Then you push your arms outwards from the mouth and it kind of backs away from you. Saliva just kind of its tongue and saliva kind of peeling off your chest. And surprisingly very cold. Like you'd expect it to be hot and kind of like, fetid, but it's really cold. Okay, she kind of sees the situation. She jumps up onto the stairs. And she'll go ahead and engage in some attacks. Looks like she's going into kind of a weird stance, and then she pops into like a flurry of blows. She manages to get a good 2 shots in of the 4 that she throws. For that much. The dragon seems to take notice.
Just punching a dragon, dude.
Yeah. All right. The dragon quite annoyed. It'll go to Rignar, who, after healing you, kind of looks to you and says, "Will you be all right?"
Oh yeah, I'm good. Let's do this.
He runs with his staff kind of over his shoulder over to here, and then he kind of runs some more, and it looks like he's getting behind the pillar for cover. All right. That's turn 1. It goes to turn 2. John, you're up.
I will be moving here. Take the shot.
Okay. It bounces off of his hide.
And then bonus action, I will use help on the little paladin.
Okay. You kind of say, "There's a good shot there," and he goes, "Ha!" And then he looks to
Punch him in the balls.
he says to Daya, "Step aside, girl. I've got a clear line." And he charges in. As he does so, he steps into her square. She's not really allowed to move, and so he'll take his swing.
I didn't even see him on the map.
Oh, you didn't mean him?
No, I didn't know he was there. The little paladin, the girl, whoever that is.
She's not a paladin. Yeah, no, she looks like she's a monk. That's the one you're helping?
Oh,
Okay.
yes, she has the help.
All right.
I did not see that guy on the map.
Perfectly fine. So this guy comes out of nowhere and comes swinging and hits against the back end where she was punching, but doesn't seem to cleave in. It kind of scatters the blade off the side. And once he's done with that, he has to kind of shift aside. And he looks like he's trying to move back and away, but as he's doing so, the dragon takes an opportunity attack. Looks like it bats at him with his tail. That's going to hit. And then oppose athletics. Or no, sorry, that's my athletics check, and then he has to oppose it. And he fails. Okay. So it looks like he gets knocked off to the side into the pit. Daya is going to attempt to try and make a dexterity saving throw to catch him. Ooh, and she rolls a 1. Okay, she kind of...
So they're both gone.
She grabs a hold of his hand as he's being knocked aside, and his sword kind of falls away. His sword hits the ground near the bottom of the steps. Undying falls off, and she kind of falls with him, holding his hand. Once they hit like the point where she's the only thing that's holding them both up over the pit, her arm, you hear it crack, and she screams out in agony, and you see the heavy-plated paladin fall into the hole, into darkness. All right. I'll go ahead and remove him from the board.
Glad he was here.
And Estinos, you're just below it. It is kind of leaning over the thing, so you can still attack up at it.
Alright, I'll rage. Pull out my longsword and swing.
Okay. All right, kind of get in. Were you doing so recklessly?
No.
Okay. So you swing in, kind of cut at it. It kind of snaps its teeth away from you. And then it kind of it laughs at you. All right. It kind of focuses its bite again in at you, kind of snapping back at you as you swing with the sword. It misses. You kind of are prepared for it. And once it does so, it kind of turns its body just sideways, kind of getting all of its legs up onto that platform, and then swings in wildly at Daya. Claw, claw. Just rakes across her body. She kind of grunts, not screams out from the attacks, but it does look like she's bloodied by the blows. All right. Goes to her. She snaps down low, brings in another flurry. Hit, hit, hit. And then she will use another function. Okay. So she hits it 3 times. Looks like it kind of, catches it in the neck and then side of the head a bit. But then once she finishes her 3rd attack, it looks like she's about to throw her 4th. Instead, she kind of vanishes, and there's just like a shadow form of her there. And you see her kind of reappear in between these 2 pillars. Looks like she used the shadow of the dragon that was being cast on her and the shadow of the pillar to kind of jump between them 2. All right. Rignar, like you hear a dwarvish cry kind of come from the pillars. Oh! As Endovan flies into the hole. He kind of runs up the stairs, but that's pretty much all he can do, and he's too short to reach up to the dragon. But it looks like he's really, really mad. All right, this will be the last turn of the non-cool kids being on the scene. Jun, situation is as it is.
I will. How many bonus actions do you get in a turn?
1.
Okay. I will bonus action a dash to double my speed. Pop in over here.
Okay.
And take a swing with my rapier.
Okay. I'm going to say that you kind of roll up the steps, kind of step up the steps, and then attack and jump down, just because it's about 10 feet up. But go ahead and make your attack. That'll miss. It kind of like catches it on its bracer, kind of bats it away. Estinos, this strange Saryujan man, kind of jumps in next to you. Doesn't seem to have any icons or bearings as to any kind of family, clan, or army he's a part of, but just this strange Saryujan man with a straight blade, which you would know is known as a Jian, or rapier.
There's a brief moment where I make eye contact with a feral look in my eye, and I barrel past him and up the stairs. That wouldn't leave the threatened square, correct?
Correct. You're staying adjacent to him.
All right.
When we make eye contact, I just wink at you.
And a scream is responding.
And another swing from the longsword. Yeah.
There you go.
There it is.
And that'll do 15 because of rage.
Mm-hmm. So you kind of cut into the dragon's face as it kind of snaps back, but you catch it on its snout. Blood starts to kind of like a thin red line across the white, and it kind of looks at you with hatred.
Just give a giant gnarly grin.
As you do so, it kind of looks at you, and everyone that's kind of in the position that it's in rears back, and blood kind of just funnels off of it, and you see the blood freeze in air as the air around its maw becomes cold, and then it snaps forward and breathes straight into you, Jun, and Dia. I need dexterity saving or Constitution saving throws. It's really good. It's really bad.
So bad.
Okay. And what's your Wilbur? Your maximum hit points? What's that?
26.
Okay, cool. So the both of you are taking. Looks like It'll be 32 hit points if you failed. It'll be 16 if you succeeded.
All right, I'm still up, but barely.
You can see basically the ice kind of frost over Jun, and he kind of like and falls to the ground, like covered with rime. And you also see behind you the girl who jumped to shadows, Dia. You see her like kind of stuck in a corner, and she's kind of pulling her hand off the stone. You can see that there's this like reddish color to her palm. She was kind of touching the stone when she got blasted, and she was kind of frozen to this stone pillar by the blast. Once she's kind of resuscitated, she kind of and looks at the dragon, and then like looks at you, and she kind of darts over to here. And then you hear the uncorking of a bottle. All right, Rignar kind of looks at you two, and jumps in underneath the dragon, kind of gets down low, places his hand on Jun, and says, "Stay with us, boy." And he casts Cure Wounds at 3rd level, which will be 10, 15, 16, 17, 18 hit points back there.
Wow, nice.
So you see him basically resuscitate Jun, and he kind of looks to you as Ostinos, and he kind of says, "I'll get you next. Just stay on your feet." And looks up at the dragon. The dragon kind of looks down at him like, "Uh-oh." All right, stop. Hammer time. Let me go ahead and get the cool kids onto the board.
Squad.
Nice.
All right, and let me get your tokens out. What would the marching order have been? It would have been Isaac first, then Ithel, and then Fonzie, or
That sounds right.
I'm
very
slow,
accurate.
so I only moved 25 feet.
We'd want Fonzie in the back.
Okay. Bear with me here. I'm just gonna get you guys pulled.
Can't remember.
Oh,
Didn't
nice.
one of us have Elvish Runestone of the old dragon
You did.
fuckery?
Oh no, Dragon
Fonzie did.
Dragon fuckery is yeah.
Fonzie.
Okay,
I have Elvish Runestone of Gotta Go Fast.
correct. So you move 40 feet.
Sonic.
And then
Sonic.
Ithel has Elvish Runestone of armor up. So
Yep.
just so you understand the positioning there, you guys are not like out of the pillar. I'm just placing you on the map. You'll basically all start at. I'll go ahead and move you all back a bit. You'll all start at the pillar where Isaac is. Minus 5 feet if you're the second in line, minus 10 feet if you're the third in line. So it's going to take 10 more feet of movement for you, Fonzie, to get on board. Okay, and then
Are we still underground at this point?
you're inside of the pillar. You're coming out. So Isaac, everyone, roll initiative so I can reset the order.
Ooh, lad.
Everybody roll.
Yep.
John, you're still on top.
I thank the old man for the assist and the heal. I will stand up and roll behind him and move to this one. That's still beside the pillar, not on it, right?
Yeah, you're kind of directly underneath him. Yeah.
Okay. And I will take a swing.
Okay, and you can have advantage for this one because you're attacking him from underneath him as he's kind of hanging off the back of that pillar because he's kind of facing the others since that's where he breathed.
Okay, I got a 19 to hit. Do I get sneak for being next to that guy?
And advantage. Both of those things would do it. So just one sneak attack roll. But yeah, that'll hit. And then sneak attack damages. Okay.
So
You watch the Saryuchin kind of roll underneath the dragon. You see his blade kind of stab up and lance at the soft underbelly. The dragon kind of yelps in pain, quite aggravated. It kind of starts shuffling like it's going to move and turn around to face Jun. You also see that it's looking over at the entry pillar, Jun. And when you kind of look over there, you'll see Ithel, go ahead and take your movement.
Oh, bonus action aid on the Joe.
Okay. You
Barber
kind of
end.
look around the corner and you say, "I've got him distracted. Hit him."
Is help a bonus action?
It is for a mastermind.
Not for regular.
He
Got
can help as a bonus action, and he can do so at a range of 30 feet.
No, I was asking for myself, like, what can I do? Okay,
Oh,
cool.
okay.
So I'm behind Isaac, and Isaac is how far away from the exit?
So you'll move into Isaac Square, which will be 5 feet, and then once you're in that position, you can move. You're on board.
Okay. I'm going to reach out and touch Isaac's cloak and say, Stasia, grant you strength.
Okay. Good deal.
And I'm going to hold my movement at the moment. I'm just going to stay put.
Okay. Joe, your character wouldn't note that there's others coming out and about because there's a dragon in the way. But go ahead and take your action. What are you doing?
Swinging the 15 to hit.
No. It kind of like once it gets stabbed, it's kind of focused on defending itself. Kind of curls in. It catches your sword against its bracer.
Sidestep, and that's it.
Okay. Fonzie, you're up. You would need to move 10 feet to get into Isaac's space. Then once you're there, you can move onto the board as you would.
I'm gonna roll over here,
Okay.
and then for my second action, I'm going to actually move again. Is that okay?
You're dashing, yeah.
Okay, there we go.
You see Jun in a pretty compromising position and engaged with a dragon. So if you had... No, you were unconscious when he ran, so never mind.
Correct.
You think he's a hero. Fremas will go.
He's the hero of Canton.
He kind of focuses in on you, Joe, and seeing that you're not very competent with that blade, since you've only hit him once, and he assumes you got lucky, he kind of turns his attention away from you and focuses his attacks down on the two. He's going to claw in at Rignar. And he misses. Then he'll bite at Rignar. He will hit. And then he will use his last attack, claw, against Jun. He will hit. So he slashes you, Jun, as you're kind of underneath him. He kind of just claws down at you and rakes you for 11 points of damage. And then he bit Rignar. He doesn't hold on to him like he did with the first attack against Joe's character, but he does kind of hurt him quite a bit. All right. You see Dia kind of refreshed. She moves out of the shadows there and kind of throws a couple of darts in at the dragon. And both of them just bounce off of its hide. Ping, ping! All right. Isaac, you kind of step out into the scene, and you're seeing it from the side. So just imagine like there's this big pillar, this big dragon set on top of the pillar. Underneath one side of it is Jun stabbing up at him and getting raked by a dragon. And on the other side is this big burly warrior with a long sword slashing in on him.
Alright, I'll get to here. I can't dash. So for my action, I'll thrust my longsword into the sky and I'll yell, "Father of sunlight, bless this blade!" And I'll channel divinity. And I'll use... Where did I wrote it down? Yeah. I'll use Sacred Weapon. That'll be my turn.
Oh, wow, that's really good. Wow, that's really good.
Yeah, you know, just both my highest stats. Let's go.
Okay. Ragnar, kind of seeing the situation stand, he kind of looks to you and goes, "Lad, avenge your master!" And he steps to the side, and you don't know what he means, but he slams his hand against Asinos with a second level cure wounds. It's not too good. 10 hit points back, Joe.
Got it.
All right. Okay. At the start of the initiative, he's going to go ahead and do a thing. Jun and Estinos, right? I'm gonna keep butchering it until you tell me I'm
Astanos.
Astanos. The three of you guys can make an opportunity attack. Ting, ping, and Rignar with his stave. Oh, he hits. Cracks him. And pretty solid hit. Okay. Oh, but just one shy of what I needed. Okay. All right. So he flies up and away from you guys, about 20 feet over the hole. All right. Jun, you're up.
I am not feeling great.
Okay. You're pretty sure if it breathes again, you're in its zone. But if you get behind the pillar,
yeah.
you'd be fine.
Yeah, I'm looking for where I can go. Hold on.
That's elevated. So if you got like to the east of it, you'd be behind it from where he's positioned.
Yeah, but I don't like that.
And then all the other pillars that are out and about are about 30 feet tall.
I'm gonna dash. No, I'll just move, I think.
Okay. Yeah, you can just move, and then you can use your bonus action to hide.
I'm coughing up blood. I'm gonna bonus action and buff the gnome. Aid.
Give him advantage on his next check. Okay. Ithel, you're up.
Yeah, so, yep, Ithel would take the movement. So is it 10 feet to get out?
Yep. Or no, 5 feet for you to get to that position.
Okay, 5 feet to get out. She's going to survey the scene. She sees Rignar and looks alarmed. She sees the dragon and she looks alarmed. Does she see June?
You would have seen Jun as you kind of stepped out, darting into the shadows.
She gives him a stink eye.
Well, no, you see that he's covered with blood and covered with frost. It looks like he's been fighting this dragon while you guys have been fucking around with undead.
Oh boy. Okay, so we'll do Sacred Flame. And I would want to move behind the pillar afterwards.
Okay.
The whole 3 damage if you fail. Maybe radiant damage is extra good. Who knows?
As the bolt kind of like emanates above him and kind of descends down towards his head, he kind of snakes his head aside, and you see the bolt kind of dash into the stone inside the pit. All right.
Okay.
Astinos, I did it again. I did it wrong again. It's your up.
I'll drop the sword to my side, pull out a javelin as I'm running, and throw it.
Okay. That'll hit. All right.
Kind of just jump down to the other side of the pillar over here.
Okay. As it hits him, he kind of snaps and like blood kind of funnels out of the wound, and you see him kind of breathe in again. And as a reaction to him being reduced to less than half health, he'll take the breath weapon action again. Because of your positioning, and also same for you, Gnome, you guys will have advantage on this saving throw. But make a Constitution saving throw, please.
Nice job.
The father of sunlight.
Favorite,
His warmth.
favorite of the gods.
So durable.
It's actually a pretty good roll. Okay, and then Chody, I need a con saving throw from you. You have advantage on it though.
Boom, 17.
Cool. It's more than enough. Okay, so if none of you failed, so you're all taking half. Half is 19 damage.
Oh,
I'm
much was-
unconscious.
19
How
damage.
much? Then that's half of that, or that's how much I'm taking?
Max was 38, so half of 38 is 19.
I'm down.
yeah, I'm down, just barely.
As those three kind of fall down in the cold, John, you can kind of hear them like glazing over and frosting over. The cold breath kind of pushing past the column between that space between the two columns there. There's a kind of a shadow in the ice that hits the ground that seems to be kind of gnome shaped. And there's another shadow that's a little smaller and weaker that seems to be kind of paladin shaped. You're not sure. Well, yeah, you're pretty sure what the fates of those two are. Bomsey, death saving throw, please.
Woo.
One success. Mark it. It'll go to Freemus, and when it comes to him, he'll kind of come down here and tear into the girl. So Dia kind of like sets herself into defensive stance, but the attacks come swinging in. Two more. The bite misses. She kind of ducks below it, but then the two claws kind of drop down on her. She lets out grunts again, and she seems to be kind of like after taking the blows, like on her last limb, like blood's just running all over her a bit. She kind of, seeing the situation as dire as it is, stands to fight against it instead of running, and she will flurry of blows with her last point of key. Hit, crit, miss, hit. So let's see, that's 4 plus 9 is 13. 13 plus 7 is 20. After the bite kind of misses and the claws come down, she kind of gets back up, bloodied, and just miss, punch, punch. Solid hits in the dragon that kind of back it away from him, from her rather. Steve, Isaac, death saving throw. One success. Rignar yells out really loud, just kind of echoing across the canyon or like the mountaintop that you're on. He says, "Priest girl, come help your friends!" And he drops down to
On it.
save his warrior ally. He'll use a first level. Oh shit! I'm sorry, Joe. Get 4 back. He rolled low. Sucks. And then
That's all I need.
that's all I need. John, you're up. You can see Fomsey laying on the ground now, covered with ice. Jeremy.
Hello?
Jeremy.
Hello. I'm
Hey,
talking.
now we can hear you.
I don't know what happened, but
That's weird.
anyway, for the third time, I'm going to step out, grab Fomsey, drag him back to the square I'm in, and bonus action aid on Rignar.
Okay, you can, as part of that standard action, make a attempt to stabilize him. You can make a medicine check, DC 10, to try and stabilize him.
Okay. Nailed it.
Okay, you basically staunch the bleeding, kind of using his cloak and kind of pulling it tighter around him to kind of warm him up a bit and hold him close. And then you say to Rignar, "Do what you can."
I embrace him dearly and hold him close
Hold
to
me
myself.
closer.
Ithel.
Yep. Ithel is going to move
John, can you
here.
drag the gnome into my square? I pulled him to where I am.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
From this space, I should be able to use Prayer of Healing on all 5 of them. Can you confirm?
30 foot, right?
Yep.
You're missing
The-
Rignar. You would be able to get
Okay.
all 4.
That's the best I could do then.
It's okay. Rignar he's not bloodied.
Okay.
So cast it.
So you each get back 13 points.
Yep.
Woo!
Except that the casting time for a prayer of healing is 10 minutes.
We'll get back 13 hit points and 100
No,
crown.
don't gain any hit points. Subtract 13.
Fuck.
Casting time for prayer of healing is 10 minutes.
Okay, never mind. Shit.
It's kind of like a short rest, is what prayer of healing is.
Okay, that's a problem.
It's a good spell, just not for
It's a
this
good
situation.
spell. So I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do.
You've got one first level spell slot. Do you have healing word as a spell?
I have healing word.
It looks like Fomzi is being handled and taken care of by Jun.
Isaac?
Isaac is still bleeding.
Yeah, so I'll cast healing word on Isaac.
Okay.
You couldn't make it close enough to touch.
Yeah, he could.
No, I couldn't. I'm
He
gonna
moved on.
cast it as a second level spell.
Okay. So 2d4 plus, okay. Plus lots, because healing cleric. Alright.
So he gets back 12.
Yep.
And that was a bonus action, so I have an action now, right?
Yeah, you could dash to get behind cover if you wanted.
Which is what I would want to do.
Okay.
Still learning, sorry.
No problem. Okay, Ostanos. Did I nail it? It's your up.
All right, I'll stand and I'll move.
Okay, so around the pillar. You still got plenty of movement speed. You get behind him. Dia is still kind of standing. So yeah, go ahead and make your attack.
I would be about 5 more than what I need because half is to stand, right? So that'd be 15 and 5, 10, 15, 20.
Yeah, so if you... Yeah, you can't move over the pillar. It's too big. So do you only have 30-foot movement?
Yep.
Yeah, you'd be 1 square short.
Double move right to there.
Okay. Bomsey, no death saving throw from you. Skips the turn. Goes to Freemus, and he is really annoyed at the girl. But he also notices that you're behind him. He's going to lead with his bite attack. Ooh, that's a failure. And then he'll claw at her, and he misses. And he'll claw at her. What's her AC again?
Dive, duck, dip, dodge.
She ducks the bite. She kind of moves away from the claw, and then catches the last claw on her shoulder, and she goes, ah! It falls off to the side, bleeding. She doesn't go off the side. She just kind of tumbles to the, like, here-ish. She's down. All right. Goes to her turn. All right. Steve.
How do I use the gotta go fast rune? Does it just?
It's
make
already
it
active. It lasts for 8 hours.
Like how fast do I go now?
Plus 10
35.
feet. So 40.
Oh, so 40. Go fast. All right. Next turn I'll be able to get in range. So
Okay.
actually no, I'll dash because I don't want to. I'm saving my spell slot, so I'm gonna dash behind this pillar.
Got it. Rignar. He has 1, 2, 3 more spell slots. Let's see. We'll go ahead and pop another second level spell on you. Oh, so that's 18 hit points back. Nice. 8 and a 7.
Hell yeah.
And he kind of looks at you and says, "We can do this. We can be great today." And then
The beast will fall.
at the end of the initiative, you can and him can both make opportunity attacks, as it does the thing that it does. Miss. Rignar also misses. Okay. Ithel.
Ithel will step behind Fomsy and cast Cure Wounds. Okay, nice.
Beautiful.
Nicely done. All right.
Who was the target of that?
Fonzie.
Fomsy?
Yeah, Jun kind of like relinquishes him a bit so you can touch him and cure him. But you can see that Jun's basically been safeguarding him for the last couple of moments. But Jun, did I skip you? I think I sure did. It's your up.
Oh, yeah.
I yell, spread out!
I'm going to hold where I am, actually. Hold.
Okay. Asunos.
What's the dragon looking at? Is he
He's bleeding a
going
lot,
upward, right?
but it does look like he's going upwards. Yeah.
About 20 feet up off the hole.
He's about 20 feet off of the hole. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna rage.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna run up the stairs and I'm gonna jump at him and grapple him.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Make an athletics check.
Bye, Joe.
This is epic. You got this.
So I'm raging, so 26.
Mm-hmm.
What happens when a flying creature's movement speed becomes 0?
You're not in. Hold on a second.
Should just hover.
It's gonna be the ultimate pile driver down the hole.
Yeah, really.
I don't want that.
Let me check something here. Okay, so the grappled condition. It would reduce its speed to 0, but it doesn't incapacitate it, so it can still hover. So when you grapple a creature that's flying, if you just grapple it, it doesn't. You're not pile driving it. That would be dope, but incapacitation would stop it from its hover. So you grab on a hold of it. When you do, you kind of jump at it, and it kind of like tries to bat at you with its claw, and you kind of like have the longsword in one hand, the other hand you grab a hold of the claw as it's batting at you, and pull yourself up onto its back, landing on its neck, and kind of grab at the fin on the back of its head, and kind of hold on, which kind of keeps it low, and just kind of like trying to keep itself skyward.
Goes Dragon Rider.
Strike the beast now!
Yeah.
Fomsy.
I'm going to stand up, and then slide out and use my stone and sing the word Dragonlance.
Okay, you haven't been helped this time, so go ahead and do me a favor and make a performance check.
I don't sing well.
I'm not good. You don't speak Elvish, right? Because
No, he had to be taught the
yeah,
words.
you only have
Yeah,
to make
she
a
taught
performance
me.
check if you don't know Elvish. So you kind of mess it up, and you're like, and Jun, you hear it, and you're like, that's not how it went. And you're holding the stone like, I suck at this. Okay, Freemas. Let's wrestle. It's going to try and grab a hold of you with one of his attacks. Okay. It does. It grabs a hold of you. Kind of reaches up with its 23 and grabs a hold of you. It seems to be kind of trying to fling you with its second attack. At this point, you have two options. You can make an athletics check to try and not be thrown and hold on to it and still be in the weak side of the grapple, or you can attempt to make an acrobatics check or an athletics check to jump from the fling and land where you want instead of where it wants you. Do you want to stay on board? Edit to
Trying to stay on board.
make an athletics check. All right. So it kind of like grabs a hold of you and like rends you down like this. It kind of pulls you towards it to try and fling you like a yo-yo. And as it does so, you kind of pull away at the last moment and grab a hold of its bicep, and then it kind of grabs you with its other claw and is holding you. With its last attack, it's going to just kind of grab at your back and kind of tear into you with its claws. Nope. That's a lot of nope. You basically feel it on like the pauldrons and bits of your armor, and it doesn't seem to hit flesh, despite you being mostly naked. All right. Isaac,
I'm going to jump in here.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to quickly scan the hole. Are any of the pittons and ropes still attached?
No, they've been pulled off and torn away. Like, you can see the holes where they were ripped out.
All of it got out?
Yeah, the ropes held. It's the pittons that got pulled out. They got yanked right out of it. It seems that they've been dropped somewhere, but you don't see them physically on the ground, so you assume in the hole.
Okay, then I will just move a square down to get some kind of line on the dragon and take a shot.
Do you want a bonus action help Fomsy before you move?
As long as he can hear me within 30 feet, he's good.
Okay.
So, crossbow shot.
Got it.
Then bonus action help. Crossbow misses.
Ting. All right. Fomsy, he kind of reminds you how the song went because he was there, and you feel a little bit more confident. Steve, from your position behind the pillar, you can see up the stone a bit. You see where Rignar's standing, and right at Rignar's feet, you see Endovin's sword.
This fiend. Oh, it's gotta be flying over hole. Can't really things. I'll have to whip out my crossbow. I'll take a shot.
Bounces off of its hide. This shot hits relatively close, though. It kind of hits the neck, like where the chest plates are kind of hardest, but it's really close to where Astinos is as well. So the fights get real. Ragnar,
I was gonna say, I'm just gonna shout out before I, in my turn, I'll just be like, "Land, face me, spawn of Ashmedea, face judgment."
It kind of just laughs.
And then I'm gonna not get breathed cold on and go back behind this pillar.
Ragnar picks up the sword, moves to here, and kind of gets behind this pillar, and he looks over to you, and he throws the sword over to you. Make a dexterity saving throw. You catch it in air, and he says, He killed your friend Endovin. Use the sword to strike him down." And then before he moves, he looks over to Astinos and he says, "You foolish man! Do you really seek death so desperately? Hoshak!" And when he says Hoshak, you feel curing energy kind of pass over you. Get 5 hit points back as he casts Healing Word on you. John, back to your initiative.
Crossbow shot. Nope. Dip behind the pillar. Bonus action hide.
Oh, sorry, I forgot. Before your initiative, he ascends 30 feet more before the initiative starts over. So he's now 50 feet over the hole. Okay.
The 0 movement speed doesn't affect him.
Oh, he's grappled. Right, sorry. No.
He has control of the grapple.
He has control of the grapple. Yeah, I'm going to fly you upwards. I can still move in the grapple. You're the grappled one.
Do I make an opposed check to be moved? Or
Yes.
try to fling my weight, dead weight, fling myself.
Let's see. You have control of the grapple. You stop him from moving you. Yeah, it's back to you. So, John, what do you fire the crossbow, and then it goes to Ithel.
So how high is it off the ground?
50 feet. And what were you saying, Jeremy?
Do I somehow get advantage if Joe has control of the grapple?
No, grappling doesn't grant advantage.
We're still only 20, aren't we? Since he didn't move me.
Right. He stole the grapple. It's 20. I apologize, Andy. It's 20 feet off the ground.
Okay, great.
My bonus action was hide behind this pillar.
Okay.
So I'm going to fire my crossbow at it then.
Man. All right. I'm just waiting for somebody to roll a 1 so I can stab Joe in the back.
Lulz.
That'll hit.
I'm coming up, man.
That'll hit. Yeah.
And then Back behind cover.
Okay. All right. Astinos?
Same thing. I want to more or less fling my body weight around towards the front of him and try to move him towards that pillar.
Okay. Go ahead and make an athletics check. Trying to drive a dragon. Okay. 17 does not beat his 23. So as you kind of wrench him and kind of try to get back up onto his neck to pull him, he kind of pulls his head to kind of snap you up a bit further up his body. Yep.
Do it again.
All right. We wrestling. Do it.
24.
So
Going into the pillar.
yeah, that'll work. You have a speed of 30. You don't technically have a flying speed. So what we're going to do is you're going to half your speed and be able to move him that direction. You said which pillar? The sacrificial one?
Right into the fucking pillar.
Okay. So he flies downwards at a diagonal. So he was 20 feet up. He's like right above it. He's about to smash into the top of it. So he's about 5 feet off the ground. On his turn, if it gets that far, he'll have one last attempt to try and move himself. Otherwise, gravity's just going to do its business. All right, Fonzie.
I'm gonna try to sing a song again.
Do it.
That's with advantage. You said I had help.
Correct. As you kind of hold the stone out and sing, it starts to kind of light up, and you kind of like feel this urge to point it in the direction that you want to point it in, and you see this kind
I'm gonna do it like a Kamehameha.
You see this line kind of light bead on the dragon's head, and as you've like mark it, it kind of creates this magical connection, like this beam of force emanates from the stone and smashes into Freemus. Astinos needs to make a dexterity saving throw. All right. You kind of roll off of it and onto the pillar as it's descending down, and the force of the blow kind of stops it in air. Instead of hitting, you think it hits the pillar, but as you kind of hit the pillar and roll off of it to see what's happening, you see this strange magic blasting into its head. Its head looks like it's being peeled away, like off of the bone, and the body kind of just starts descending into the hole, while scales of it are just kind of falling off of it, and it just continues falling into the pit. After a good moment,
would it fall into the pit, or since it was coming down, would gravity take it out of the pit?
You stopped it in midair. The force of the blow
it froze
it in, like you hit it with such force, it stopped it and started peeling it apart. You see it descending down, but as you're watching it fall the rest of the 20 feet into the pit or 10 feet into the pit over the pillar, you see its scales kind of peeling off of it, and it looks like they're kind of evaporating in air. Looks like the bones are the only thing that remain of it as it falls into the hole.
Nice.
So yeah, and then after about a moment or so, you hear a boom as the sounds of the bones kind of crash at the bottom.
Sweet. I juggled the stone and put it back in my pouch.
Okay. And that's a bad miss. Endovan, as you're kind of like, sitting there with the crossbow and you got the sword in your hand and you hear him say what he said, you hear and then
Oh no.
sound come from over here.
Oh shit. Oh, she's still alive?
You come over to her and it looks like she just spent her last moment choking on her own blood.
Like she dead?
Success on one death saving throw, failure on the second saving throw. This was my third one right now, and I rolled a 1. She died.
Oh, I can't. You know what? Just hearing even her death rattle, I'm still gonna attempt to cure wounds just because it's what I would do.
Roll a percentile die. Would be nice. Okay, so you didn't get under a 10, so she's still dead.
Oh damn. Oh well. Tried. I'll just close her eyes.
Rignar kind of sees it happen and kind of lowers his head. This came at a great cost. Okay, so the combat's concluded. Ithel and Jun and Fonzie are kind of over there by the pillar. I'll go ahead and just do left to right mode. Ithel, what would you like to do first?
I just did that.
Okay.
Type so big preparing to cast Prayer of Healing.
Okay. And then Chody?
I'm going to honestly get in cover and wait and see what everybody else does. Make sure it doesn't come back up since it looked like it was dead, but just in case, I'm going to be still cautious.
It looks like its scales were being peeled off and its flesh was being melted.
Right. Yeah, like I said, I'm still going to wait for everyone else because I don't know these new people either.
Fair.
So I'm going to stay with my people and wait and see what happens.
Pat. It's doing it again.
I'm sorry.
All right. And then how about some Steve?
I'm just gonna go to Rignar and say, you said Endovan was killed. Where's his body?
Rignar kind of lowers his head and says, "It would seem he met the same fate as the dragon."
Then I will descend back into the lair, and I will find his body. He was a good man and deserves a proper burial, not to rot in some dragon's pit.
As you turn away to walk away, you can feel his dwarvish hand kind of grasp the side of your arm, and he kind of turns you back to look at him, and he says, "You're bleeding, boy. There's no sense traveling back into the shadows not being prepared. Your friend over there seems to be saying a prayer to her goddess. Stand close to her for a time. Wait a few moments. We'll all go down together when we're ready."
I'll nod and I'll head that way. And as I'm passing this brutish man, I'm just gonna look to him and say, you fight with much courage and bravery. Some may even call it foolishness, jumping on a dragon over a bottomless pit. But still, I cannot deny that is courage if I've ever seen it.
Nice.
You see, I'm kneeling, just kind of peering into the hole, like as if I'm waiting for something. I have a look of disappointment on my face. I turn to you and I say, "I am cursed." And then I look back into the hole.
Ithil would motion for Astanos and Isaac and Rignar to come within range.
Oh yeah, for sure. Rignar's on board.
Astanos takes Dashio's blessing.
I do it.
Okay. Now pop it. And 10 minutes or so pass as she kind of goes over this ritual, and you all get a number of hit points back, which is 16. All right. And then what happens?
Endovan's longsword, is it just a pretty typical longsword, like similar to mine, or is it notably, is there anything to it?
Endovan's longsword is a +1 longsword.
Magical or just like Mastercraft?
It's magical.
Cool, +1 longsword.
All right. And anybody else have any questions before you guys go back into the hole?
As I'm crawling back up off the floor from squatting down, clutching my wounds earlier, I'm going to motion for the gnome and walk over to him and ask him if he can tell me anything about this cloak I found down there. The 2 chevrons and the diamond on it.
I'll check it out and see what I find out, man. What I need. Arcana.
So it would take a short rest for you guys to kind of inspect the weapons. So you wouldn't know it's a +1 weapon. I guess I shouldn't have said that. But I assume if you're going to spend some time with the sword and kind of, look over it, we'll go ahead and just say you guys are taking a short... No, the sword, the +1 that I already said. I already shit the bed on it. So what I'm saying is you're taking a short rest. If you guys... I've already said that's the case. So if you want to spend hit dice as well, you can if you need more healing. If not, that's fine too. But the cloak is a cloak of protection.
Anything special about the jewel dagger that I found earlier?
As you inspect it, the jewel dagger doesn't appear to have any magic to it.
Okay.
Just seems to be specifically... That was the one that was found on the dead boy, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it just seems to have markings for the House Vastal. All right. But the cloak is this one. It appears to be a Hiltonian cloak, which is a cloak of protection. the symbol on it, he's able to notice that it's the symbol of House Haverhill from a town called Hilton.
How long is the attunement for it?
It would be the short rest, so as he's identifying it, you can attune to it.
Okay. Then it already would have been. I was wearing it since we found it.
Yeah.
I would have put it on and put the clasp on the inside or on backward or something though.
Okay. Doesn't seem to work. Every time you kind of turn it to face away, it always snaps back into position. Even reversing the cloak and putting it on, it seems to kind of snap the Hiltonian symbol forward.
I just drape my scarf over it then.
Okay. Then what happens?
If we're done the short rest, then yeah, I'd just tell the group I need to recover Endovin's body, give him his last rites. He would do the same for me, and he would do the same for any of you. So, head back into ye old dungeon.
So during that short rest, so while we're healing up and chit-chatting, how did you three get out of there?
Through faith and steel.
Ithal's quiet.
Two of you are unconscious, one of you was pinned in a hole. You should not have survived that.
Through strategic help. I was down for most of it, but when I came back up, we were able to somehow get out.
The father of sunlight and the mother of moon.
You lack right. You lack belief, Sir Rogue.
Well, perhaps there's something to this faith thing.
It's like Han Solo seeing Jedi magic for the first time. Classy. All right. You guys descend down. Once you get back to the burial chamber, you can see that beyond the burial chamber, there's a downstairs that continues to descend further down, a spiral staircase, similar to the one up above. And you kind of descend down to a point where there's a door. Gnome, you kind of sense a strange sense of magic present.
As we walk through there, I grab both of those little boxes.
Which boxes?
The boxes.
Oh, the ones with the coins. You already took note as to how much was in them, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then there was the last tome. Do you guys want to investigate that before you descend down to the dragon's lair?
Oh, yeah. It has treasure.
Okay. Inside, you find a series of cloaks that look like they've been kind of destroyed by time, but they seem to be covering something else up. If you were to investigate what is in there, you would find
21.
It looks like a club, basically a piece of wood with a blood red kind of leather handle, like it's wrapped in blood red leather, and it seems to be kind of matted on there. Like it doesn't look like you could peel the leather bindings away. It's kind of solidified. It's kind of become one piece, the leather. The wood kind of comes up in a knot at the top, and it seems that inside of the knot that it's kind of like it's kind of tying around something is the skull of a human. But from all intents and purposes, it's about the size of a small club, but it looks like it might be the size of maybe it's in between a club and a wand. It's not a rod.
Something like a belaying pin?
Kind of like a belaying pin, yeah, but with a skull head in it.
Yeah, I snatched that up.
Okay. And then that's the only thing that's inside of the treasure chamber, if you recall the lore there. And then you continue on further down. And like I was saying, when you get down to the bottom of the steps, there's a door. It's not it's more of a portal way. But Gnome, you sense that there's a strange sense of arcane magic present here. It's just kind of a lingering kind of sense of ozone about this portal way. And you're pretty sure that crossing through the doorway is could potentially be problematic.
I belay that to the rest of the group and say that we need to be cautious in this.
Anybody have any ideas? Or
Is there a way that we can? Are there any runes or anything around it that I can read or saying anything, or just investigate possible?
make an Arcana check. Let me know what you got.
8.
You just know that there's a strange sense of magic, and it's really keying you off, and you're not sure. Like, if you pass through this barrier, if you go through the portal way, you're pretty sure something really bad is going to happen.
We might need to find another way, guys. It seems like this might be a bad way. Is there any possible other ways we've found?
There's only the hole in the ground. You could drop down it.
That might be a better way.
I have 50 foot of rope.
We'd have to go outside and find my other ropes. And even that, we don't know if it's going to be enough, even with his 50. That'll only give us 150 feet.
Austinos, as he says that, you remember that when it popped up, there were ropes on it, and it dropped them into the hole.
Yeah.
So
So
we
those
have
are
50
gone.
feet of rope.
So Jeremy's 100 foot's gone.
Yeah, you saw it come up out of the ground, and it sounds like he said that there was line up there, and the line that you saw got thrown into the hole.
I want to sniff the barrier that he was talking about.
Okay. You can make an Arcana check if you'd like. I would say if you don't have it trained, you'll be doing so at disadvantage. Okay. Does anybody want to give him inspiration to give him your? Has anybody gained
Don't
inspiration?
have it.
Nah.
Nope.
Nah.
I've been
It's not
really,
worth it.
I've been really frugal with it. All right.
Bonus action aid.
Roll a d100. We'll do it the fairest way I can think of. Roll d100. Anyone?
Who?
Anyone?
We would have to actually have a way to open it before we could cross through it, right? It's actually closed currently, correct?
Just anyone roll a d100.
I got it. $89.
Okay. So Joe, just as you're about to start sniffing, Jung kind of looks in at you and kind of like starts peering around, and he says, "What are you sniffing, boy? What are you sniffing?" And he helps you out. And as you kind of smell this ozone, this weird, strange, like, just lingering magic, it would seem that it's kind of silver in kind. It has like a very metallic scent to it, but it's like frozen metal. And as you kind of start peering around and out through the portalway, you see that there are two faint blue lights just inside the doorway. And as you kind of look at them from your position and kind of get a good angle at them, you see that there are these crystals that are set up in the walls about 10 feet up just inside the portalway. Like, here's the doorway, then it opens up to a room, and then inside there are these two crystals, one on either side. And from what you're sensing, that if you were to pass through, it might activate or trigger, or those crystals might become alert. You're not sure exactly what they do.
Let's try to destroy them.
The source of the foul magic seems to be coming from those blue crystals on the ceiling.
Is there any like debris around us, like a rock or a brick or some rubble? I just wanna
Completely clean.
Huck someone there. All right, can I shoot a crossbow bolt at one of the crystals? Try to shatter it.
Take a shot.
Can I step back?
You hit it. It kind of bounces off of it, and you can kind of see a crack appear on it. But before it gets to it, you see ice kind of form around the crossbow bolt, and when it hits, like, it's pretty much shatters into ice pieces. And then you see this barrier of ice just kind of form in that square and kind of just solidify the portalway, the entrance, with ice, about 10 feet thick of ice.
I'm gonna make a
Looks like we're
fire.
going down. Unless we want to melt 10 feet of ice, but
Says
that's
something
gonna take a
about
long time.
Fire.
No, it's not gonna do anything with 10 feet, man.
You gonna try, or?
I can try. I'll make one and see what happens. See
I
if it
leave.
doesn't-
Okay,
I'm
go ahead.
out.
Make an attack roll against the ice. with Firebolt.
It's not letting me click it.
It wouldn't.
Yeah, it won't let me click. That's why. Hold on.
It was still in edit mode.
There we go.
When he hits it, you see the fire hit and kind of detonate against the ice. It causes splinters throughout, and you see the middle portion. There's this, like a chunk of it, maybe about 3 feet deep, that's basically just ruined by the firebolt.
3 feet. Well,
You're pretty
Might
sure
as well-
a couple more firebolts into this newly formed ice, which hasn't really solidified perfectly, you could probably burn through it quickly.
yeah, and then we could crawl through the hole, and even if they go off again, we should be protected by like the pseudo H shape of ice. Maybe.
Could I try
in
Sacred
theory.
Flame?
Sacred Flame's radiant. It won't do anything. But as the firebolts kind of continue to ascend from his fingertips into the ice, he makes a human-sized hole, burning through it in maybe the span of a minute. And then once he's done, he kind of, gestures for whoever's going to go through to go through. Who's first?
Ithel will go first. Sure, why not?
Do I feel that magic has been expelled now? You said I felt it.
Yeah, there's no longer a lingering aura. Good call.
Okay, I let everyone know and say it should be safe to go through now.
I'll follow Ithel, close behind.
Okay.
Shield up.
All right. Ithel, as you enter in, kind of move past the iceway, and then Isaac behind you, and just for category's sake, I'm putting Astanos there.
I'm still on the map upstairs.
Oh, yeah, no, everyone is. I haven't moved you yet.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Sorry. Just.
Takes you a decade to cast Firebolt, and you're going to try and rush me.
I'm sorry!
You see kind of a dimly lit chamber. There's a bit of light kind of streaming in from somewhere, but you're not sure where. You see the crystals in their placement. It looks like they've gone cold, but it looks like they could possibly be removed. It might be worth something. You see that there's a platform, kind of a raised platform. On top of that platform, you see a bunch of gold and treasure just kind of lingering around a sarcophagus made of stone. But you can only just see the sarcophagus, because on top of the sarcophagus, you see the racked, broken body of Endovan. But on top of the racked, broken body of Endovan, you see the racked, broken body of Freemus. It looks like Freemus dropped and landed on top of him and kind of smashed together. You also see strands of rope kind of about near there.
She would go to Andovan and see if there's anything that we can do for him.
Doesn't seem that it's going to be... No.
In which case, she would start looking around at the treasure to see if there's any weapons of power.
Okay, so you start searching the pile. Okay, what is Joe doing?
Searching the room, scanning the room,
Okay. And
lighting a torch as well, because I don't seem to have light.
Jeremy. Oh, sorry, hold on. Torch lit.
I'll be popping the stones out of the wall over here.
Okay. That's better. Steve?
I'm going to start trying to pull Endovan's body out from under the dragon.
Okay. And Jody?
I'm not even going to worry about the treasure and start looking for more artifacts of things for possibly the school.
When you enter into the room, on the ground in the middle of the chamber, just at the foot of the stone sarcophagus, if you move around the pillar, you see a very familiar looking symbol to you. It appears to be the cycles of the moon engraved into the stone.
I tell the group that I've seen these before. Well, I don't tell the group. I just start talking, like teaching again to myself out loud and basically saying these are the same runes that we saw before in the other dig site.
Okay. All right. So Andy, investigation check. Steve, strength athletics check. Jeremy, you're fine. You have 2 crystals. They're quartz crystals. They're each worth 50 gold pieces apiece. And Joe, you said you were lighting a torch and looking around for anything, marking-wise or anything.
Yeah, not investigation-wise, more like just alert-wise, making
Okay.
sure we're safe.
Seems like there's 2 entrances, one from above and one the way you came in. All right. Okay.
15.
Yeah, with your investigation check, you kind of start moving through the coin. You do find one coin that seems very strange. It appears to be the coin that you've heard mention of before, an Ario, which is made out of the rainbow stone. It's basically a prismatic-looking coin. It's known as an Ario. Looks like this. My crappy paint skills.
Okay. Cool.
All right. But yeah, big pile of treasure besides. And then, let's see. Steve, how did you do?
She would motion over to the rogue. I'm sure you want this. Looking at the treasure.
Steve, you did all right. You managed to push the head of the dragon and the top portion of the dragon aside just enough to pull Enderman out. When you do, you kind of come to this really ghastly realization that most of the bones in his body have been broken in multiple places, and it looks like one of the scimitars that was tied to the ropes has actually embedded itself in his spine and come out of his, like, the front of his chest through the plate, ruining the half plate.
Yeah, no, I'm
Ruining
gonna
my
try to.
ropes.
I'll pull him out and just go off into a corner and just start cleaning up his body best I could, like removing the sword and as much of the grisly whatever remains. Just essentially preparing him for burial
Okay.
best I can in this situation.
So since everyone's had a cycle, I'm just going to open the floor to you guys. I'm not going to talk unless you ask me a specific question.
Yep. Ithel would turn to Isaac and say, help me see what you make of the sarcophagus. There might be evil here.
Sure. After I'll just kind of put Endovin's body up against the wall and then kind of use divine sense and feel what I can feel.
Then I would help you then.
Yeah, divine sense doesn't trigger anything. The sarcophagus, from what you can tell, has a big dragon on it. That's going to need some. That's going to need to be removed for you to kind of investigate it more.
As Isaac's setting the body down, I'm going to pull my older cloak out and hand it to him to wrap him in.
Does dragon have any horns?
No, white dragons don't have horns. They have a fin, though. There's a hard bone in the fin on their back. You could probably pull that off.
And it's got some... Doesn't it have some sort of bracers or something?
It does have a pair of bracers.
Nice trophy.
I'm gonna get the axe out and go to work on the fin.
Okay.
I'm picking up the best of the best out of that treasure pile.
As he kind of gets to work on the top of this thing's head, he's cutting in deep to the horn to kind of get to the base of the skull where it connects and pull it. And you can see like a lot of blood just kind of spewing from the top of its head onto the treasure on the ground. It doesn't seem he has any concern. He just gets up onto the sarcophagus while you guys are talking about moving the dragon and is just hacking away, like cutting and digging into it.
John,
Yep.
Screwing things up.
the bolt that Chody shot it with, you said it already peeled all that back.
Already did what? Oh, all of its bone. It's bones.
It's gone. It's only bone now,
It's
buddy.
just a skeleton.
Dang it, no blood. Yeah, it is just a skeleton. So yeah, you pull the bone right off the back. You are right. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a clean job.
I want its claw too. A gnarled bone dragon claw. That sounds dope.
Perfectly fine. Yeah, the bracers still exist, but the dragon scale, the flesh, the meat, all of the internal organs are gone. That is correct. Dragonlance did the dragon rend stone or the dragon killing stone destroyed all of its flesh.
I'll tell Ithel, the sarcophagus should be safe to open. I don't sense any malice about this place. I'll kick the dragon, just be like, we've already taken care of the evil here.
Astanos and Isaac, why don't you open the sarcophagus?
One more thing, I forgot to do it when we were up there. Ithel, can you make me just a history check or a religion check? Your choice.
Give me a list of the best treasure in the pile.
You would have had advantage because of the elvish nature of it. When he spoke the word and sang it right and used the dragon stone, the words that were spoken weren't dragon lance. They weren't dragon rend. They weren't dragon kill or whatever. They were dragon flay, like flay a dragon. So you're pretty sure with the results that emerged when it was used. That's why it's called what it's called.
She would teach that to Fomsy, sort of let him understand that.
Okay.
I'm gonna practice that a lot.
Yeah, and because of the nature of the carcass, you can kind of move the bones, just kind of toss them aside, in bigger portions, kind of breaking them apart. It does seem that there's a bit of sinew kind of holding them together, but the bones are pretty much all that's there to get it off of the sarcophagus.
So then I guess we three lift off the lid.
We should be able to lift it up, like push the coffin lid open.
Okay, well, once you get it uncovered, the main thing that you notice is that there's a bunch of Elvish writing on the top. It looks like it's been kind of chiseled away at, or like over time it's kind of like worn away, but there's one large written word or written name that seems to have kind of held enough that you can actually make note of it. It says Latimer.
Is there a house Latimer?
Perhaps. Do you want to make a history check?
Sure do.
I don't know what you got.
12.
You think there might be? It sounds familiar.
I have this whatchamacallit. I'm pretty familiar with nobles and stuff. Could I try to help her?
You make a history check as well. No, I know what you got.
Oh, 10.
You're not from Parnak. It's definitely not a house in Osiria. But yeah, no, not for sure. Okay.
I'm gonna overhear the discussion. Nah, I don't know what the fuck's going on.
You walk over. You're like, eh. I walk back over to the claw and are like trying to fasten a leather thong to it to make a necklace or like a token. All right, Jun. After covering up the corpse of Endovan and getting the stones out, anything you want to do?
Yeah, I already said it a couple times. I'm picking the best of the best out of the treasure pile.
Okay, make an investigation check. You become really fascinated with this crown. It appears to be, it kind of has like a silk inlay, and it looks like it might sit on the head nicely. It's covered with all sorts of stones and whatnot. It looks really pretty, and you kind of figure it's worth probably about 200 gold pieces. From what you can tell, this is probably the best.
Okay, I'll grab that, then I'll just scoop a bunch of gold at random into my pouch bag.
Okay.
Make up a number.
Put a note, counts crown, and then it's worth 200 gold pieces. The total wealth that's present in coinage is as follows. It's mostly coinage. There aren't very many baubles and such. It is mostly coin. But there is a crown, and then there is also a necklace. What's it called when gold is just kind of put on in sheets? I can't remember what that's called.
Gotti.
Yeah, that's too.
No, I'm just
when they they don't have like a solid gold thing. They just put like small like a paper thin layer of gold onto it. Why
Like embossed? Embossed?
No.
Gold flake.
plating.
Plating. No, not plating. Leaf. Gold leaf.
Leaf.
Could someone put this in the treasury?
Fuck that, I would wear it.
I let everyone know that my share of the treasure will be going to the nearby farms folk. This dragon has been plaguing them for gods know how long, and this gold will help them rebuild their lives and perhaps help them mourn their lost ones.
And since you guys are currently spending some time doing this isn't hard labor. If you want to take a short rest, you can. To identify the strange club. You'd also find that there are also in the pile 2 other things of note. There are 2 daggers.
I'd like to still, like, if I don't, did I see anything else from searching the room or anything? I'm not digging through the treasure like everybody else, but
inspecting the room, you would see that there's the pattern on the floor, the sarcophagus, the pile of treasure, and the 2 stones at the entryway. And the 2 pillars in the center of the room looks like they once had like carvings in them, but because of this icy cold temperature that the dragon basically resided in, this place is really frigid. By the way, it looks like they no longer has any. There's nothing to it.
okay. I'm gonna go ahead and ask the group. Do we feel like we are going to be going back to town after this, or is this do we need to continue down further? I think we got everything here.
I have no need for this coin. Take my share.
Should we take the any of the dragon parts back?
No one's taken the bracers.
So yeah, they're the bracers on the skeleton or on the corpse. They're really large. There's the dragon bones. There's the coin. There's the 2 daggers I mentioned. There's the wand club that you found in the tomb above. And,
Jeremy got that though, right?
Yeah.
We have a wagon available to us too, right? We got a robot with a wagon down the way, so we can haul all this out.
And
maybe we can get the bracers changed so that they fit humans, you know?
Maybe if you just put them on, it'll do it itself. Wink.
So you got the bone club.
Are you guys inspecting and like taking a short rest to figure out what these things do?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
So real quick, John, you sit down with the root, the weird rod thing, the 2 daggers. Who's kind of taking claim of those? One has a blue handle with a star-like pattern in its pommel guard, with a hole in the blade, kind of in the center, almost the size of like an eye. And then there's another one that is got a black handle, brownish black handle, with a star, black star set in a gold disc on the handle. It's a very small dagger.
I like the blue one.
Okay, you take the blue one. Who's looking at the
Someone
black?
already grabbed the bracers.
No one.
I'll grab the bracers and start looking at them.
Okay, you have these big, large bracers, and you're investigating them. It's fine.
Climb inside them.
Okay.
I'm gonna wear it as a belt.
And that club looks like a mighty fine tool. Could I see that? I don't know who picked it up, but I'd like to look at that.
I got it, and I'm not giving it up till I know what it is.
Fine.
There's one last dagger, the dagger with the star pattern. Does anyone look at it?
If nobody wants it, I'll certainly take it.
I'll say if nobody picks it up, I obviously will.
Well, it looks like Ithel was the quicker of the 2, so she's got it. All right. So, kids yelling in the background. Okay. So the coin, you investigate it and inspect it. When you figure out what it does, it's a stone of good luck, the Ario coin. So it adds +1 to your ability checks and saving throws while you have it on you. Also, the coin is actually a piece of commerce. You can use it to basically pay for 2,000 gold pieces. So where you have a copper piece, and then you have a silver piece, then electrum piece, then gold piece, then platinum piece, way, way, way above that is an AP, an Ario piece.
Wow. Works for me.
And then you have the
Nice.
Hiltonian cloak, which we've already uncovered. The gnarled root, which is this. It adds +1 to attack and damage rolls made with the weapon when used as a club. It adds +1 to attack rolls when used as a wand by a spellcaster. And you ignore half cover when making a spell attack against a target.
I like that one.
Then you have the Misty Dagger, which is the blue-handled one. Misty Dagger is technically a magical weapon, and obviously I didn't fill in the chart, but it has 3 charges, which refresh at dawn, and as a bonus action, you can use a charge to cast the spell Misty Step.
Ooh.
I will make sure to get that filled out soon enough. And last but not least, the Diggler, which is a rare dagger. The Diggler is a +1/+1 weapon, +1 to attack rolls, +1 to damage rolls, and while you're attuned to it, you can cast the spell Vicious Mockery as a cantrip, using the higher of your intelligence, wisdom, or charisma to cast the spell.
Wow.
And the
The
bracers.
diddler.
The bracers are technically magic, but they are lingering magic, and they also appear to be dragon-bound, which means they can only be worn by a true dragon. They are not worth anything at this moment, as the magic that was present in them is slowly lingering out. But what you can tell, it seems to be an augmentation of a dragon's breath. The stones that are set in them are slowly fading to just gray. They were blue while they were being worn by Freemus.
Take them. Keep them as a trophy, if nothing else.
They weigh about 25 pounds apiece.
Oh, them are heavy.
Or destroy
Keep
them
them.
so another dragon can't find them.
Yeah, we can.
Again,
Townspeople can hoist them up and cheer and dance underneath them.
with your inspection of the gauntlets, the magic in them is lingering now that the dragon they were bound to is dead.
Would it not re-up on a new dragon?
So one more time. The magic that was a part of them is now lingering and fading away. Or not lingering, just fading away, because the dragon that they were bound to is dead.
So they were bound to it, so soul bound, it's dead.
They are 25 pounds of steel, is what they're going to end up being, with weird rocks in them.
Cool. I'm gonna go ahead and before we're about ready to go, I'm gonna go ahead and cast floating disc, and we can put everything we want on it, so we can just take it all up at once.
Okay. Yep, the disc should be able to make it to the wagon, no problem.
Was
I
there
also
anything
wanted
in
the
this coffin?
bones and
Sorry.
stuff.
Oh, were you pushing? We kind of cut away. I said there was words on it. Are you still going to disturb the sarcophagus of apparently honorably dead person, possibly an honorably dead person? It doesn't seem to. You cast divine or use divine sense. It doesn't seem that there's any evil emanations or good any emanations that you're picking up on that.
Yeah, I don't really like disturbing the dead, but if someone else wanted to, I was not gonna. I'm not a. I know grave cleric. I'm not gonna get all pissy about it.
I think I would, as an archaeologist, I would check it out. So yes.
Okay, so with some assistance, you guys are able to push it open. Inside is a dead body, a very, 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 very old, ancient skeleton lingering there. If you want to investigate more about it, I need a medicine check to determine any traits about the thing. What'd you get if you rolled it?
A 15.
It appears to be a human female, based on just the pelvis size and such. And there's no strangenesses of the ears or the eye sockets. It appears to be a human Parnan female that was laid to rest here. She doesn't have anything on her, no baubles or jewelry, just a skeleton.
Okay. I won't take that.
Yeah, we can put the lid back on and let her continue her rest.
Agreed.
All right.
But definitely going to throw the dragon bones and everything else on the disc.
Okay. As you're kind of inspecting it, looking up at the hole in the ceiling, kind of just paying attention to the moon cycle, you kind of understand the nature of this dungeon more than you did from above. Above, I said it was some sort of shrine, some place where rituals were performed on the outside. But Vamsi, as you see it now, you understand it better. It is a burial chamber for this person, and they're apparently an honored dead because the nature of what's placed here is of cosmological importance. and you think you might be able to figure out when it's supposed to be of cosmological importance based on the signs on the ground. But what you assume is the reason why there's a huge cleft up above that descends down and basically shines light directly on the coffin is because at some point in the year, at some time, either moonlight or sunlight descends down perfectly onto this shrine or onto this tomb.
You said I can figure out when? When is that?
Make an Arcana check as you kind of inspect the ground symbols.
13.
You're not sure that by yourself you'd be able to figure it out. This is definitely a newer subject matter. You may need to consort with another member of the association, maybe have a conversation with someone. The only person that's readily available would be the Undaunted, but you think that the elf back in town might be a better source of information. That said,
And as I'm doing this, I'm talking out loud. It's like I'm teaching. I don't think any of this. I speak it out loud.
of course. So everybody, anything I told Chody, basically the answer is yes, you know it. You guys gather up the coin, you gather up the itemry, and you start heading back to the wagon. There you find, with no wounds or hurt or any kind, the Undaunted, Perdix, and the two young gentlemen from the association. They help you kind of move the material on, and they have several sacks in the back that are empty, and they start putting the gold into it in separate bags and kind of setting those aside. And basically ready the wagon and prepare it for its journey back to town. Are there any lingering matters that you want to cover in the next 7 minutes before we close out the session?
Yes. As I approach the wagon and I'm getting set, putting some gear down and prepping up, I snap my fingers and say, oh shit, I almost forgot. Genesis root. Where is it, Rignar? Or not Rignar, Whitebeard?
One of the boys looks at you and says, oh, we took the liberty of, and they hand you a small sack, finding some out in the stone while you were inside, and they kind of smile.
Hey, thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem. It's a little bit. It should be enough.
Man, I hope.
Ragnar says, let me see it here. And he kind of takes a look at it and he says, yeah, that's the stuff you're looking for. And that's more than enough.
Man, I hope she's not dead.
Well, I hope you have someone who can prepare a poultice. And hopefully she's not dead. But from what I remember of the poison, the conglomerate's poison doesn't kill initially if it's stopped. What it does is its lingering presence leaves them in a coma, sometimes indefinitely, as their body just rots away because they can't feed themselves.
Huh. Neat.
Yeah.
And while we're loading the thing, I'll grab one of those spades and dig end of in his cairn, fashion a cross of Atavia's.
Raises his hand and says, we'll be traveling a couple of days. We can get him back to a nice settlement. We don't have to bury him out here in the wild.
So we're heading back to Squalor? Because there's no temple there, is there?
There's a temple of not Atavius, no.
Yeah, there are not many temples to our god in these parts.
I'd be honored to have him in my funeral patch.
And kind of just nod. That would be best.
Nods his head. If the church wants to exhume him and take him to a more honorable place to be buried, I will of course comply.
Oh, when we get back, I'll have the local smithy fashion a cross for him, one of the Tavian symbols, and I'll put his half plate over it.
Okay. Ithel?
Yep.
Do you have anything you want to... Is there anything you want to clear out at the end here?
No, I think I'm good.
And Pomsy.
No, sir.
The wagon starts to head off, and you guys make your way back towards the town of Squallow. That is where we'll end the session. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't ask Joe. I'm a huge dick. No. What is there anything that you want to resolve? Obviously, you're just kind of there on the wagon, or there near the wagon, as they kind of sort up and get ready to go.
Very quiet, keeping to myself, just kind of hanging out.
Okay. Anybody want to address Astanos before you guys move on? Obviously, Steve has already.
I want to thank him for the help. We couldn't have done it without you. We couldn't have done it without you. You're very, very helpful, strong warrior.
The people are safer with the creature at rest. Thank you.
All right. That said, everybody experience one. Excuse me, burp. Should be 500 total per person. So that should put you pretty close to 4 on your way to 4. And next session is, I'm going to go ahead and close the stream. Thanks for watching.